Hi, welcome to the Legal Services Alabama video series of helpful legal information for older adults. Today we will talk about planning for your future, wills, advanced directives for healthcare, and power of attorney documents. Let's discuss planning for what we want to happen to our property when we pass away and making plans for our future healthcare and living situation. We can make documents now that will give us the power to say how we want things to happen after we die and if we become unable to speak for ourselves later. What is a will? A will is a legal document that directs what happens to what we own when we die. It can direct what happens to a house, land, and personal property like a car, furniture, or other items. You don't have to have a will, but it's a good idea if you own a house or land. If you do not have a will, Alabama law will control how your property is passed on to your closest relatives. So, if you have certain items that you want to be left to certain people, you need to make a will. Otherwise, your possessions will be divided according to Alabama law. To make a valid will, you need to be an adult of sound mind, know what you own, and understand your decisions about how you want your property to be divided at your death. You do not have to have your will prepared by an attorney, but it's probably a good idea, so you will know that it meets all Alabama law requirements. The will must be signed by the person making it before 2 witnesses. It is also a very good idea to have the signatures of all those signing witnessed by a notary public. In your will, you'll need to name someone as executor. An executor is someone you can count on to take on the responsibility of carrying out your wishes. You can also name an alternate executor in case the first person named is not willing or able to take on the task. If you want to make a will, you can call 800-243-5463 to get connected with the Area Agency on Aging office for your area. Many of these offices provide free will preparation services for older adults. What is an advanced directive for healthcare? An advanced directive for healthcare is a legal form that lets us say what medical care or treatment we want or don't want if we become so sick that we cannot speak for ourselves. It usually includes a living will. The living will is part of the advanced directive for healthcare document where we say what level of care we want or don't want if we're terminally ill, injured, or in a coma, and we cannot speak for ourselves. A terminal illness is a disease or condition which cannot be cured and is likely to lead to death. Our doctor will consult with all the doctors involved in providing care to determine how sick we are and whether we can speak for ourselves. No one person decides how severe our condition is. We can also name someone we trust to speak on our behalf and carry out our wishes. This person is called an agent or a proxy. It's also a good idea to name someone as a backup agent in case the first person is unwilling or unable to serve when needed. An advanced directive for healthcare document is easy to complete. It needs to be signed by 2 witnesses. The witnesses should not be anyone named as an agent or anyone related to the person making the document. Once the document is filled out and signed by witnesses, a copy should be given to any doctor that the person sees regularly. An advanced directive for healthcare can be canceled anytime by tearing it up and making a new one. What is a power of attorney? A power of attorney is a legal document that allows us to make decisions about how to protect our money, what we own, and even our health care. You may also hear this document called a durable power of attorney. Here, durable means that the power of attorney will stay in effect even if we become disabled, incompetent, or incapacitated later. In Alabama, there are 3 types of power of attorney forms. Financial power of attorney. This form gives legal power to another person to manage and make decisions about our finances and property. The person we name is called our agent. The agent must act in our best interest. Limited power of attorney. This form gives the named person, the agent, legal authority to handle only specific tasks. For example, an agent may be given only the power to deposit checks or to sell an item of property. We decide how much power to give the agent. Healthcare power of attorney. This form allows us to name a person to make decisions about our healthcare if we are unable to make our own decisions at the time. This agent is like the healthcare agent named in an advance directive for healthcare discussed earlier. The agent for a power of attorney needs to be someone that we trust to do as we wish and to act in our best interest. It does not have to be a spouse, adult child, or even a relative. It's a good idea to name someone to serve as a backup in case the first agent is unable or unwilling to serve. A power of attorney can be written to go into effect immediately. For example, on the date the document is signed. It could go into effect at some point in the future, on a particular date, but this is not common. Most often, it is set up to go into effect only if or when we become unable to make our own decisions. The power of attorney can include ways to determine when we can't make our own decisions. That may be with a certification by a regular doctor or 2 close family members, or some other way to determine when we're no longer capable of making our own decisions. We want to be clear as to whether we want the power of attorney to go into effect right away or if we want it to be effective at some point in the future. Be very careful about giving someone power of attorney over you, especially if that person is pushing you to do so. Sometimes a power of attorney is called a general power of attorney, and it gives someone the power to do anything that they could do themselves. So, for example, if you sign a general power of attorney and it says it goes into effect right away, the minute you sign it, the person you name as your agent has the power to write checks from all of your bank accounts and much more. Keep in mind that your agent should not be doing anything that benefits them and is not in your best interest. But if an agent does something wrong, it may be hard to undo that harm. Before you sign any power of attorney, especially a general power of attorney, make sure that it is really needed and that you really trust the agent you choose. Be sure that you think about the level of power or authority that you need to accomplish your goals. Do not give over more power than you need to give. You can also set up a power of attorney to name an additional person to help the agent. They can consult with or review decisions made by the agent, but the agent still makes all final decisions. How do I cancel a power of attorney? You can cancel a power of attorney anytime if you change your mind or you want to name a different agent. You do this by signing a revocation of power of attorney. Revocation means cancel. The revocation of power of attorney document will cancel your previous power of attorney, and you can say in it that you no longer want the person named in the old document to be your agent. These changes can be made so long as you're of sound mind and you can understand and make changes. You can then make a new power of attorney, and it can say that it cancels any previous power of attorney. You can name a new agent in the new power of attorney. If you sign a revocation of power of attorney, give copies of it to anyone who had the old one. This might be your bank, doctors, and other places where you get healthcare or financial services. If you sign a new power of attorney, make sure to give that to anyone who might need it too. Again, this might be your doctors, your bank, and others. You have the power to take charge and prepare a will and other forms to make your wishes clear to others in the future. If you are 60 and over and need legal help, please call the Legal Services Alabama Elder Helpline at 866-456-3959. For more information about our free legal services for older adults and our legal guidebook for older adults in Alabama, check out our website. We hope you will watch all the videos in this series that were created to empower you to take control of your life, your finances, and your independence.